I think in the cider world of all the adult beverages, it's kind of the most connected to the agriculture. So that's one of the things I really love about making cider. When you plant an apple tree, you plant it once and maybe you have to water it the first year when it's just a whip, when it's just a stick in the ground to keep it alive. But after that, you kind of never water it again, and you've got fruit for, depending on the type of tree you plant and how you care for it, anywhere from 90 to 150 years. My brewer friends, they got to plant their barley every year and plow up the ground every year and water it every year and fertilize it and spray it every year. And as I kind of got into the whole environmental thing, I thought, boy, cider's kind of cool that way. So you get apples, you press them, and then you wait until it's done fermenting, and then you've got cider. And it's that easy and that basic.
Making cider can be very simple. It can get more complex. It's about the fruit. You have to have good fruit. Then there's a little technique afterwards: the selection of yeast, the cellaring process, the aging process.
I think there's a big misconception about apples. I just passed around a bunch of apples to all you guys. 4 different varieties. Cider Red, which is really tart. The Golden Russet, which is kind of the russety one, also pretty tart. Macintosh, super wonderful aromatic apple. And Northern Spy, got some good acid, a little bit of tannin. All those are really good cider apples. If you make a cider from any one of those individually, you won't make good cider. You need to blend them. You need acid, tannin, aroma, flavor, all those things from your apples. And really, most apples don't have all that.
In America, we have a great cider tradition. Yes, Europeans drink more cider, but a couple hundred years ago, this was a cider country. Everyone drank cider here. Beer was expensive, mostly came from England. It was all ale. Lager hadn't even been invented yet. And it was expensive. It traveled over the ocean. It was brown. It was, you had to be in Boston or New York to get it. Everyone in America had an apple tree, and everyone made cider from that apple tree. So everybody drank cider. You might drink beer, you might drink wine, but cider was the commonality. And so there's a great tradition of cider in America that we are now only rediscovering. We used to have great cider apples. It was lost in the late 1800s because of the popularity of German, Eastern European immigrants coming, popularizing lager and pilsner beer styles, refrigerated railroad cars taking that new beer across the eastern seaboard into the Midwest. You didn't need to have fresh apple cider. So cider took on less and less of importance. Then, of course, you have the temperance movement. The Temperance League started in Evanston. Temperance started to kill drinking in America, and then you have Prohibition. At that moment, all of the American orchards cut down their great tannic, acidic apple varieties and then replanted with bright dessert varieties that they could get more per pound. And so we lost that tradition for nearly 100 years, and we're only now coming back into it. It was our drink, but we've forgotten about it. Only now are we starting to wake up and say, wait a minute, this is our beverage, this is a good drink. It doesn't all have to be concentrated apple juice shipped in from China, fermented in industrial factories, and then put out with sweeteners. There can be a tradition, a legacy of handcrafted cider in America, and I think that's what's exciting with what's happening now.
Cider is absolutely not a gender-specific beverage, and I don't really find, basically, I see a lot of variety in marketing, in branding, and that's exciting because I think as cider grows, the variety will continue.
I think there's a big crossover as well. I mean, if you look up at this panel, it's predominantly male, and cider gets a rep as being a predominantly female market, but there are a lot of other factors that contribute to the standard cider drinker, and whether it's a gluten-free option or whatever it is. I mean, I think there's more to it than just male or female, or whether it's predominantly female or whatever. But
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. In my house, it's a cider a day keeps the doctor.
Why eat your apple a day when you can drink it?